Donald Trump could now become the first president in history to be impeached twice.
Exactly, and that's so remarkable, isn't it? And yet we knew that this was coming because of his behavior and what he did to incite the insurrection at the rally on the Wednesday the 6th. He urged his followers, there were 50,000 of them at the rally, and he urged them to walk down Pennsylvania to Capitol Hill and to support his senators to block the certification of the election. That's interference with government. And in fact, the impeachment article reads, I'm going to read it to you, a couple of items here. In all this, President Trump gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government. He threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power, and impeded imperiled a co-equal branch of government. So these are very high, important charges. And it was based on those two things, that event on the 6th on Wednesday, but also what he did to make a phone call to Georgia Secretary of State, urging him to find votes so that Trump could win Georgia. That is completely abuse of power also, and that was included in the impeachment article. So it's pretty serious.
It is very serious, particularly those charges that you just read out. How much pressure would Joe Biden be under now to formally come out and really hold Donald Trump accountable for those riots?
It would be quite a bit of pressure because right now we know in the House, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, is adamant on getting this impeachment article passed right away in the next couple of days and then sent right to the Senate so the Senate can consider it. Joe Biden is hesitant because he says it might interfere with his program to get things done in the first 100 days. And yet there's a lot of pressure. There's over 200 and probably close to 250 members of Congress, of the House, that will vote to impeach. There are 200 co-sponsors right now, and some Republicans are signaling they might also do it. No one has formally come aboard yet, but it could be bipartisan. And so Biden is under pressure, and yet Biden and some of his other people, like Congressman Clyburn, says it's better to wait for 3 months. The House can send the articles over right away, the Senate, but it's better for the Senate to consider the impeachment trial, to have the trial 3 months from now, so Biden can get his things done in the first 100 days. I think it's better to send it right away because this is such a serious thing, Danica. This is insurrection. No other president has ever been accused of this before or impeached for it. This must be dealt with first and foremost, in my view.
Yeah, it's an absolutely extraordinary set of circumstances, Peter. We know over the weekend we saw that Donald Trump's biggest megaphone, really, Twitter, has now suspended him, as well as other social media platforms. How will he now be able to connect with his base, given particularly Twitter was one of his biggest tools?
He had 85 million followers on Twitter, and that's one reason he was able to get elected. And it was very dangerous what he was putting out there with it, and Twitter was right to suspend it. And Facebook also did that, I believe. I know that many of the social media did that, but he's trying to go to Parler, and yet Parler was also without it's being blocked by I think it's YouTube or Google that actually sponsors Parler. Even that, which the right-wing extremists and he were hoping to use instead of Twitter, is going to be taken away from him at this point. So he's going to have to find some way, if he wants to be a player in the Republican Party, to keep in touch with his supporters. But I'm very concerned about this because this can continue the kind of insurrectionary thought and activity. In fact, these insurrectionists have called for another meeting at the Capitol to block the rest of what's going on with the inauguration. So that's in the next few days. So I think the National Guard should be on alert. The police force should be ready to go to stop anyone from doing what they did on Wednesday. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, who would have thought that this would be the last few weeks of the Donald Trump presidency? And, well, here we are. Peter Matthews, appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you. My pleasure.